The time is near where we must venture once more through a difficult, dark, and foreboding evening, where we must find 31 more horror games on Halloween, which means an unprecedented amount of petrifying pumpkins and creepy looking things. A shortcut through a local cemetery might have been the worst decision that I have ever made, and I'm starting to get a little worried. If I can get through this, it will be almost time to embark on the most dangerous challenge of this century. But first we need a themed beverage, and ideally a clean theme. Bit grimy. But can 31 systems be found? Well, they were last time, but this time might be different, and different systems might be needed. And familiar ones, and expensive ones. With the help of a trusted internet explorer, it's time to do battle once again, in order to negate much torture and slaughter, in order to author many names that rise above the flames, finding extras to claim. So all that remains is 31 more horror games. Did you know that this game is actually a spin-off of the Ghosts and Goblins series? I did not know this until I looked it up, so we may have both learned something today. Featuring this little chap called Firebrand, you get involved with various platform antics, as can be seen here, for Nintendo's wonderful monochrome marvel, boasting a challenging difficulty level that would rival the equivalent difficulty of eating 9 pickled eggs in one sitting. I would urge you to give this game a bit of time, as once you get going, it is quite a fun and engaging little game. If you are not prepared to put in the time to learn the craft of a tiny gargoyle man, then I would cheat. Enter FFF-FFF as a password to begin with extra items and boosted attributes. Do not thank me now, thank me later. I've only sleepwalked twice in my entire life, and the second time ended up with an unfortunate mistaken identity of a small pedal bin and a toilet seat. But I digress. This game is based on a Game & Watch design, the precursor to the Nintendo Game Boy, and designed by the same clever chap who is sadly no longer with us. I cannot fathom what on earth I am supposed to be doing here. I guess you have to walk and avoid things. Simple in its design, simple in its execution, but simply boring. That reminds me, I really must revisit the film Sleepwalkers again. It has nothing to do with sleepwalking, and everything to do with cats. I hate spiders, like the idea of warping. I've never had a Vectrex, and I certainly won't be owning one anytime soon, as they sell for about £1 billion. Keen observers will instantly see that Webwarp appears to be a cheap knockoff of the classic game Tempest. Webwarp is sometimes known as Web Wars, which gives the game a much scarier and darker premise. You are a bird who has to work your way through a fantastical web experience. Shoot things, and dodge things, and collect things. Portals may open up if you're lucky. Gordo 106, or to give it its official title, Gordo number 106, The Mutated Lab Monkey, is a dreadful game for Atari's multicoloured brick sensation. I never knew anyone who owned this funny game. I do not know how to describe this game, so I am not really going to. I think you are a monkey in a lab who must be called Gordo. I wonder, is that short for Gordon? But who on earth would call a monkey Gordon? Not me. Run about a bit and rescue animals. Fall down large holes into other complex levels. Work your way through several mind-numbing grey levels, controlling a confused monkey in a tiny red cap for possibly about 1 minute and 10 seconds until you can bear it no more. I once went to a monkey forest and really enjoyed myself, and I can highly recommend the experience to anyone who fancies an alternative monkey experience. I remember locking eyes with a tiny monkey for a good 6 minutes, wondering what on earth he was thinking. He probably was not thinking about this game, and he was not wearing a little red hat, and this still remains the most enjoyable experience I have ever spent with a monkey. I do like the Neo Geo, and Data East is often a sign of total quality. Ghostlop is a game. Well, of course it's a game, but it is an arcade game that spookily never came out. Garner shiny coloured balls in blue or orange and throw them at the corresponding ghosts of that colour to ensure that they explode, which will help you clear levels. 1 button for blue, 1 button for orange. Simple is how I like it. Think ghoulish puzzle bobble. Compete with your chums in a ferocious 2-player battle to the death, but not in real life, thankfully. You may like to play this game with friends at a suitably themed Halloween party, and I can comfortably say that this game would certainly go down well amongst your themed puzzle aficionados. Usual game mechanics apply, in that the more you clear, the more you cause chaos for the other player, and ensure they become entangled in more ghosts that they can lop a stick at. I wonder if the lop of Ghostlop means to lop the ball into the ghosts' faces, or did they mean ghost lob, to lob a ball? Curious. Trust me when I say this game is a total classic. Age of Zombies was part of the Minis range of gaming for Sony's sleek yet affordable power beast, often described as smaller, more casual versions of gaming that were available to download from Sony's online shopping store for a much more wallet-friendly price that still gave you bang for your buck, and paved the way for many indie game makers to showcase their hidden talents. All in all, there are 294 PSP mini games available, but I am only going to talk about this one. This game was also released for the PlayStation 3, the Vita, iOS, Android and the confusingly titled Ooh Ya. Take control of the amusingly titled and large-headed gentleman, Barry Steak Fries. And be warned, this game has some rather fruity language at times, which I was not prepared for, and it did startle me somewhat. The violence level is amped up to 9.5 as you control little Barry, big head, against hordes and hordes of monsters in a cartoon Smash TV-esque belter of a game. Nice pick up and play controls, and a nice selection of suitable weaponry to blow the zombies to bits. This means you will continue to have small pockets of fun as you progress through this colourful blend of big heads and zombies. If you like the idea of controlling small, big-headed, sweary people with comedy names to shoot colourful zombies, then this game is probably for you. Don't write this game off too soon. I had fun for 17 minutes. A legend in its field, the one and only Ghouls and Ghosts, which translates in Japan to Great Demon World Village, and translates in the UK to Ridiculously Difficult, Painful City. Released on every platform under the sun, this game started its meticulously hard-as-nails roots in the arcades, where it was poised to take your every last coin from your pocket and drive you to temporary insanity as you tried desperately to see past level 1. Control little Arthur, a knight who is on a quest. Well, knights are always on quests, aren't they? Save your princess, jump, move, and shoot weapons across 6 levels that you will never see the end of unless you had about 300 quid in 10 and 20p's back in the arcade's day. But now, with the benefit of technology, cheats, and infinite credits, you can finally see more than these few screens. Yeah, that's about as far as I got in the arcades. What is a mage? A mage is described as a magician or a learned person. What is a dark mage? I guess someone who practices in the dark arts. I discovered this by accident when compiling this very compilation, and was immediately confused to learn that this is a new old game for the Atari 2600, Atari's classic wooden-grained box of 8-bit tricks. Yes, technology has caught up so much that the new games can be programmed for classic systems. My good friend is obsessed with old classic text adventure games, and used to spend hours and hours on the old Infocom classics such as Zork. Dark Mage is a nod to the simpler times of text adventuring, but keen observers will note that the Atari 2600 never had a keyboard, so this game relies on simple choices to make as you work your way through red screens of wonder, and red equals scary. This game is so dangerous it warns you immediately before you go any further due to the graphic nature and violent scenes. Well, if that's not a reason to get your curiosity hackles raised and jump right into this game, I don't know what is. This game was never released, but it almost was, it got as far as around 99% complete, and for some unknown reason it never saw the light of day. Rumour has it that once this game changed hands from Virgin Interactive to Electronic Arts, they just found the game too bloody for its own good, so immediately cancelled it. Maybe they had to concentrate on bigger and less violent, lighter games like the FIFA Road to World Cup 98. It is a shame this game never came out. However, this game, as you can see before you, was leaked on the internet superhighway, and people even designed bespoke cases for the game. Such was its legacy and mystery surrounding its cancellation. And here before you, you can see that it is indeed incredibly playable as a creepy and horrific multiplayer gorefest. So what's it all about? People get sent to hell after perishing on Earth and have to fight to the death in order to win back their lives. Up to 4 players can fight it out using standard punches and kicks. But fill your kill meter to the brim and you can execute a death-defying move, the thrill kill, to send your opponent into the next dimension. It's not all doom and gloom though, as the game's engine was re-skinned in order to make the humorous musical fighting rapping delight Wu-Tang Shaolin style, so the game does live on to some degree. 11 playable characters, 1 unplayable, all with terrifying names designed to make your blood curdle. Belladonna, Moody Housewife, the Imp, Short Chap who walks on stilts, Mammoth, Massive Ape, Violet, Circus Teenage Contortionist, Cletus, Cannibal from Kentucky, Dr. Faustus, Plastic Surgeon who is described as completely deranged, Oddball, FBI Chap, unable to use arms, Tormentor, Judge with a chain, Cain, Man who can make fire in hell, Judas, fused twins with no legs, Maruka, female demon who organises the whole tournament, the Gimp, training dummy only. You can choose to have one big mashup with 3 other characters or take your chances one-on-one. I remember seeing the film Blade at my local Cineplex and enjoying it a great deal. What more could you ask for? You had a grinning Snipes fighting his way through hordes of vampires. Well, I could have asked for a shrunken down version of the film to play on Nintendo's advanced colour screen successor to its monochromed masterful merry-making fun box. But there was no need, as a miniaturised Snipes was already available in up to 56 glorious shades of tastiness in this classic adventure come beat 'em up, come slash 'em up. Join Snipes as he travels through various vampire-infused locations to do battle and deliver some wisecracking, blood-curdling, high kicks and gruesome punches to become the hero of the day. Pick up weapons along the way to help you dispatch not just vampires, but a wide assortment of grisly beings and ghouls that lurk in the dark. Blade also came out on the Sony PlayStation, but I have never played that version, and I probably never will, for this is enough to satisfy my craving for controlling tiny Snipes across an assortment of varying level types. There's even that bloke to help you along the way, who has a grizzly beard. Often known for tiny Italian plumber-based sprawling platform adventures, Nintendo from time to time, however, did venture into the horror genre and licensed spooky games from popular spooky movies. Punch little snakes that have no resemblance to anything you remember from the movies and wander about a bit, trying to make sense of this side-scrolling slasher-cum-beat-em-up monstrosity. I never had the game to accompany the chilled classic, as I would have been too worried it would have extended my nightmares. However, had I known then what I know now, it may have all been absolutely fine, as this game gives off a distinct vibe of worryingly terrible gameplay against a backdrop of utter confusion on Nintendo's superlative toaster-resembling box of resistors. Already bored of punching snakes and funny big heads. How am I supposed to get down those steps? Oh, I don't know. I give up. The game boasts the questionable ability to have up to 4 players all at the same time. Why on earth would you want to do that? I have no idea. I guess it would be a way of sharing the pain. Race to find keys to unlock different parts of the game and fall into alternate dream world where you might find a Freddy Krueger coming to get you. And a game that would be perfect if you want to ensure a complete shutdown of all your motor functions and instigate a temporal motionless state to ensure time stands still for eternity. I wish this was only a dream. I don't think dogs and cats will live together for very long if they are subjected to this dreadful intro. Choose an exciting hearse. Purchase equipment. I don't want to be playing a game of cut-price PacMan, but I guess I'm supposed to be plotting a route to a building to catch ghosts. This is terribly boring. Yawn some yarn into the world of ghost busting, fake PacMen, and a bit of Spy Hunter-esque level design. And this music has to be the worst incantation of a well-loved theme I have ever heard in my life. It's not giving me the bustin' makes me feel good vibe at all. I just want to bust this game. For lovers of facts, this game was created by David Crane. Yes, the David Crane. He made a lot of good games, such as designing Pitfall and the slightly narcissistical but classic Dave Crane's Amazing Tennis. More PacMan. Not even seen any ghosts. I don't count those yellow monstrosities. More darkness with Dark Castle and a choice of different doorways. Let's go through the right. Control an uncoordinated, lifeless man called Duncan across several screens of grey and foreboding castle. A dark castle. Originally a game for the Macintosh, way back in the decade they call the 80s, and allegedly a much better version. This is a platform game. There are many platforms and steps to traverse. Move Duncan through the screens and conquer all against the Black Knight. No, not that Black Knight. Use magic and fireballs, trip over rats, and fail miserably in achieving your goal in this rather dark and muddy mess of a game. Why can't I move to the left of the screen? Oh, I'm dead. Again. I am fed up of these little rats tripping me up. Constantly. Aha. Now what do I do? Oh, forget it. There once was a game called Zombies Ate My Neighbours, which was absolutely king. This game is the sequel to that game, and this game is more of the same of that game, and this game was made by Konami, just like that game, and this game also contains 2 playable characters, just like that game. But is this game better than that game? Well, this is what I am trying to find out. Just more of the same, really. The high-polished sheen of a Konami game was always a wonder to behold and patiently wait for. They built quite a reputation up in the decade they often call the 90s. And this is another great game that demonstrates the high graphical and audio capabilities of the greatest games console ever made. 1992 was a fantastic year. The Super Nintendo was released in the UK, and the 1959th star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame was presented to Kim Basinger. Classic. Worth getting an additional chum along to play this fun-filled action game. Solid and fun. More Castle Mayhem, but this time for Mattel's large grey wooden intelligent Intellivision electronic gaming family centre of fun. The back of the box of this game boasts that this is a whimsical medieval fantasy game, so this may be riding the crest of is it a horror or is it a fantasy game, but there are dragons in this game, and dragons are pretty scary. A castle maze adventure awaits you as you don your shiny armour and prepare to do battle with a multitude of dragons. This game is sometimes known as Mystic Castle, so it sounds a little more mystical, I guess. If you want to see the game credits on the title screen, press 0, although I've no idea why you would want to do that. Crikey, I'm not sure how much longer I can put up with this music and very sharp sound effects hurting my brain. I recently watched the film Wolf with Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer, which then led me to find an enjoyable wolf adventure. The first game I stumbled across was this unusual platformer. Control a man with a silver mullet. And where's the child in all of this then? Ah, now I'm a wolf, okay? And where has the music gone? It's gone awfully quiet all of a sudden. Well, this is about as much fun as eating a large boiled cabbage outside in the rain. In the dark. Wolfchild was developed by Core Design, the people who developed the Tomb Raider series of games. This in no way is related to anything resembling Lara Croft, or anything like the fun of those series of games. Why did I bring this up? Because I'm going to play Tomb Raider instead. Platform adventures of a small wolf boy who looks like a man with a silver mullet, shooting oranges. Get rid of it. My good friend is currently selling all of his Commodore 64 games, as he is hoping they are all worth hundreds of pounds. I asked him if he had the game Zombie, but he said he didn't. I asked him if he had ever played the game Zombie, but he said he didn't think he had, and that was the end of the conversation. Zombie is a bit of an adventure game. Move around and equip people with things and shoot zombies. The clue is in the title. Now, as per usual, I do not know what on earth I am supposed to be doing. I presume you are to escape the zombies. It is a shame my friend never played the game Zombie, because he could have told me exactly what I should do to remain free from the zombies. Doesn't look too bad, doesn't look too good. Calmly move down lobbies and rooms. Where is everyone? Ah, another Bobby Zombie. Take that. I still own a real Nintendo 64. I enjoy the console very much. I have never played the game Shadowman until now. God, it's a bit dark in here. Almost like I'm walking in shadows all of the time. Based on a comic book series, this game also appeared on several other gaming systems, and even a sequel in 2002 for the PlayStation 2. Atmospheric could be promising, but I'm getting myself too stuck in the shadows to make any accurate or useful observations. I mean, what am I supposed to be doing here? Hang on, there's some birds there. Are they birds? Some sort of flying beast? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting too old for these types of games. I'm always getting myself a little bit lost. Controls seem okay, bit clunky, but where am I supposed to be going? Oh, I don't know. Oh, hang on, what are these funny things? Hang on, there's a lamp. No. And how do I get up to that bridge? Oh, I'm getting very, very annoyed. You must be able to cling on to this somehow or climb up. No. Endless shadows. Mario Clash is not really a horror game, although it does all happen in a dark red room filled with pipes, and red, as we have previously established, can be quite horror-inducing. So for the purposes of the most tenuous horror link in this lineup so far, we have the game Mario Clash on Nintendo's Advanced Headache Simulator, which was only available in Japan. You can utilise special 3D glasses to get a nice depth effect if playing this game, so you can get the full headache experience across several planes of existence. Well, 2. Well, it is a Mario game, so guess what? You have to jump on things and throw things at enemies. Keen, obsessed Mario fans will notice this is a reworking of the original Mario Bros. Arcade game. Knock enemies off ledges. It has 99 levels, but I'm not going to be playing it for that long. I can barely get past level 2 at this rate. Devil Crash, sometimes known as Devil's Crush, is a pinball game because of course this all makes perfect sense. Crashes and crushes go together like small biscuits and cheese. If you do not like pinball games, then you will probably not like this game, as it utilises many balls and many pins. Pinball games are a funny breed of games, but this one has some nice horror theming and has a nice mix of fun and quirkiness to maybe allow you to spend between 28 and 42 minutes playing this enjoyable horror themed action pinball craziness. What are those funny little chaps walking about? I do remember another pinball game that I was totally obsessed with, called Revenge of the Gator Pinball. That was a true classic. I'm not sure if this game is a classic, but I am enjoying it so far. But do not seem to be getting very far. Sega's posh black compact disc player can sometimes be used to play complex computer games such as this one, a graphical adventure game that's hiding in plain sight on Sega's slightly underwhelming disc spinning machine. You play Blade. No, not that one. And you must save the day. Enjoy puzzles like how to put on your jacket and how to move from screen to screen. You are a former police officer turned detective, and you have to nobble a drug ring which is involved in some sort of Chinese mafia nonsense, and this all takes place in the year of the dragon. As this version is on a compact disc, it benefits from having real people speak. Cam Clark is the voice of Blade. No, not that one. A popular voice actor who I have never heard of until today, but has done some notable works such as additional voices on The Hobbit and Paramedic in 2002's Justice League episode A Night of Shadows Part 1. It's all very green here, isn't it? And I'm struggling to find my way out of the screen. I'm sure it could be good in time. This game does not contain any alcohol. This game contains small portions of fun by controlling a miniaturized witch with a large hat across a large mystical world with lots of weird creatures to kill and bits of scenery to jump on. This game is sometimes known as Castle Wean, which makes me go a bit funny, for no particular reason whatsoever. I cannot decide if this game is actually really very good, or that it just does what it does, just good enough to keep you entertained for more than it takes you to boil a fully loaded Kenwood kettle, which in my house is about 5 minutes and 6 seconds. Hang on, there's a little red devil chap here. What am I supposed to do with him? Don't seem to be able to kill him. And how do I get up there? Oh, I don't know. He's not taking any damage. Oh, hang on. What on earth has happened now? I've turned into the devil. Oh, okay. He has higher jumping capabilities. Well, of course he does. He's the devil. Well, that does give a more interesting spin on things. This is actually quite a lot of fun. Okay. I guess I carry on as the devil then, in this glorious, fantastical adventure. I'm a little bit confused about how on earth I turn back though. Okay, well, we'll keep it real. Aha! I'm back! What are those funny yellow creatures? Are they an armadillo? Don't know. Just some globulated yellow mess. Walking. Well, I think this is almost as much fun as I can handle. Worth giving this one a go if you're in the mood for transformational platform amusement in little hats, with a dark side option. This game seems to continually make a massive suggestion that it stars Grandpa Munster from the Munsters, but he's not playing himself, he's playing the role of Grandpa. That's Grandpa, not Grandpa. Why oh why there needs to be this slight discrepancy in lettering for the purposes of this game, I am not quite sure, and I am not going to find out. I'm not sure if having Grandpa or Grandpa from the Munsters is a real selling point here, but it could be the most amazing thing to happen to a computer game ever. Although this game is semi-famous for being one of the last games ever released for Atari's black plastic numerical series of fun contraptions. Crumbs. That's a bit of an unfortunate compromising position to be left in as you slowly die a painful death. This game takes place on Halloween night itself and described as a scrolling action-adventure game, but doesn't mention pumpkin-wearing perpetrators of violence. I'm out of here.
Fright Night.
God, that digitised sample would have blown my bazookas off back in the day. They made 2 Fright Night films, and that day was the 1980s. Fright Night was later remade in 2011 with Chekhov and Jim Street, and directed by the bloke who made Mr. Woodcock. That says it all, really. I really enjoyed the first Fright Night film, and I was overly joyous when I found out that a secret game was lurking on Commodore's excessively gratifying Amiga 500. Control massively long Jerry Dandridge, walk into lots and lots of rooms of a creepy mansion, searching for people to get your gnashes into. Once the people have been bitten to their perishment, you will be presented with the next day. Rinse and repeat until you find your mind wandering and want to find something a little more stimulating. Do bear in mind, this game is very old, but I am not convinced that this game holds any sort of longevity. It looks nice for its day, and it's a little bit of fun, but a little is not a lot. So do be prepared to be shelving this right next to the fun for about 12 minutes section of your gaming room or digital representation. A recently acquired Blaze Evercade has meant that I can now enjoy a much wider selection of independent games from a number of different game development people. This game is like a haunted version of the classic game Punch-Out that I spent far too many 10p's playing at my not-so-local arcade hall when I were but a wee chap. Boxing games are funny old games, really. Pick a character and prepare to dance like a butterfly and sting like a bee until you are the ultimate victor. Creepy Brawlers boasts a wealth of movie monsters like Bride of Frankenstein, Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, and Satan. This was released on many more platforms for you to enjoy, and many more deluxe box sets with packaging to put on display in your convenient gaming space. Creepy Brawlers has nothing to do with Nintendo, but everything to do with Mega Cat Studios, who are the independent developers of this game, and who are no strangers to independent fun little games. There have been previous attempts to make Evil Dead into a game, with varying success, and Sony's Joyful Terminus series of machines have had the Evil Dead franchise grace its presence not once but twice in varying colourful representations of a considered classic horror film. Evil Dead, A Fistful of Boomstick. Evil Dead, Hail to the King. However, I have also recently learned that the Evil Dead was also hiding in plain sight on not only the Commodore 64 and Spectrum, but the BBC Micro and the Sega Dreamcast. I have not delved into these versions, but I thought that might be a bit of useful horror history for you to digest carefully and wisely. I knew someone who once met Bruce Campbell live in the flesh. They said he seemed very full of himself, but he smelt nice. Bruce Campbell plays the popular horror character Ash Williams in this faithful, glossed-up, high-definition reimagining of the Evil Dead universe, and it is Campbell's actual dulcet tones that are plastered all over this game. My good friend says I seem to play a lot of games that are very old. I do this because I like old games. He called me Grandad, I called him Mr. Tech, and we both stared at each other for a short while, then laughed lots. This game could be considered a new game by my good friend's newly established threshold, so he was delighted when I told him that I had purchased a new game to try out on Sony's shiny black breeze block of upscaled palatable nonsense. Actually be Bruce Campbell, or rather Ash, or choose a whole host of different versions of Ash from your favourite blood-soaked movies, and popular character actors who might have once been semi-famous. Plays a bit like Grand Theft Auto. You can even get in cars and run over zombies. I recently sat down in front of the new film Evil Dead Rise for my viewing pleasure. However, I did not source any pleasure from the film, despite the good use of bone-snapping sound design with the occasional use of real-life celery. So I decided to watch the vastly superior original instead. A word of warning: if you do not like tutorials, this game will not let you pass until it forces you to complete it. But it doesn't take too long, and once you have done it once, you don't have to do it again. So don't be nervous. It is going to be perfectly okay. Trust me. For a new game, I think I'm actually enjoying myself. Things are starting to get very serious around here in the woods. Who's that guy? Crumbs. This is heating up very, very quickly. But it begs the question, could I spend 300 hours of my life playing this game? Probably not 300. But I could see myself playing it for at least 2 to 3 hours more. This is getting great fun. Take that, zombies. Look at all that nice reflection too. My good friend is obsessed with frame rates. He says it makes things look a lot smoother. I have no idea what frame rate this game is going into, and I don't really care. The important thing is, am I having fun bashing zombies and murdering them? Yes I am, and that is all that matters to me. Running around in a forest with rain. Perfect afternoon fun. My only worry is, will I get lost in this game? Two of my good friends urged me to buy this game, but I continued to refuse their requests for no particularly good reason, until I finally succumbed when the game became almost the same price as a couple of bags of high quality flavoured nuts. Do not panic. if you do not have a slender slice of Nintendo's popular multi-swappable transformational apparatus. For this game is also available on more popular platforms such as Microsoft's range of black and white towering brick monoliths, the personal computer, and the other computer with the shiny popular Dr. Deterrent fruit on it, and the very phone that you are holding in your hand right now. Control a tiny person, fighting your way through hordes of monsters that just keep on coming, and unlock things. My good friends laughed for about 20 minutes as I did not realise that your character is constantly automatically firing weapons, meaning you do not have to keep hammering buttons like I was foolishly doing. Please do not make this same mistake. My good friend has continued to play the game at great pace, and he said that it is a mental game and warned me that it gets completely ludicrous in the later levels. I was lucky enough for him to share with me some of the later levels of this game. I mean, just look at the unbelievable insanity if you put in the time and dedication. I asked my good friend if he had completed it, but he wasn't sure. He said there was a big boss fella and some hands clapped, but he did not get an end screen or anything. If you like immense, sprawling, atmospheric games that could take you about 200 hours to complete, with a side helping of Resident Evil door action thrown in for good measure, then Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem could be the game for you. All getting a bit major as the game drops you right into the action. But look out, someone has died. I guess I'll walk around a large house. Big Resident Evil vibes here, which means plenty of locked doors. Anyway, you get the idea. Solve things, walk around, find stuff, pick up stuff, put down stuff, use weapons, walk around a creepy house, and travel across several locations, following a mind-numbing amount of people as they try to sort evil out, all wrapped up in a deliciously sublime package for Nintendo's parallel-piped, distraction-making bundle of jollification. Not even going to pretend to know what I'm doing, but there are puzzles afoot, and I'm sure that window has something to do with it. And at least you can use your fists in case you get into a compromising position. Solve puzzles like this one, which I am bound not to do, as I am feeling under pressure by being watched as I desperately try to work out how to fiddle with these mirrors to make something happen. I bet my friend could work this out. He is a master of puzzles. I'm not. I guess I just keep twiddling the knobs and hope for the best. Come on, we're better than that. I must have to aim the mirrors at the sunlight, surely. Oh, I don't know. Give this game time and it might work out. These games are often called rail shooters because it's like you are on a train, on rails, and going down a predetermined path, you see. You cannot sneak off and just go wherever you like. People like Sega make you go where they want you to. Jovial transport lingo aside, this does not detract from this excitingly horrific next game in the popular arcade series of Houses and Dead People. Technically known as a prequel, not a sequel or threequel, those games already exist. Oh, it gets so confusing. All you need to know is that there are zombies and they need shooting quickly. Cuddly gizmos and grisly gremlins combine in this rather garish version of a Joe Dante classic Christmas film. Did you know that the town square in Gremlins was also the same town square set used in the Back to the Future trilogy? I found this very interesting, but we are not talking about films. We are talking about games of films, and this game seems to have taken particular liberties as you wield a large sword about to dissect gremlins and rescue cute gizmos. This was the last ever game to be released for Atari's 5200, think 2600, but double. This game did actually come out on the 2600, but I have not played it, so I cannot comment. I apologise. But if this game's anything to go by, I want nothing to do with that version either. I mean, look at this. Wandering around with a big sword. This is not my idea of a fun game. And you should just buy orange juice in cartons. One of the best, gloriously confusing titles ever conceived. Dark Arms Beast Buster puts you in a sort of dark Zelda-esque world where you have to wake up in a house and then go and discover dungeons, collecting spirits of demons and zombies, tooling up as you go and powering up your impressive gun. You control a girl called Megan with an H. The best bit about this game is in Japan it is known as the more simplified Beast Buster, Biological Weapons of Darkness, and in Europe the more complicated Dark Arms. Hang on, I don't think that's quite right. Never mind, move along. I haven't given the Neo Geo Pocket Color much love in my time, but I have been told it is a very, very good machine. But I'm not sure this game is really for me. I do like Zelda, but this is nothing like Zelda, because it's not as good. What do I have to do in here? Just shoot things? Find things? Hang on, there's a catch meter there. 3 of 99. What do I have to catch? This isn't Pokemon. Oh, I don't know. Wander about a bit, I guess. Find stuff. I'm sure it will become clear as I progress. The thing is, I'm not sure I can be bothered to progress. 31 games, I do believe, have been found, but there might be more. Well, we have had nightmares on Elm Streets, but this time it's time to bust those nightmares right out of the park. If you are having mild confusion at remembering this game back in the glory days of the superlative Super Nintendo, then I will stop you now, as this game never came out. Keen observers will note that this game was actually released in 2013, many years after the awful death of the SNES. It was supposed to come out, but never did, as it was caught up in the mild kerfuffle of Sony and Nintendo antics and was dropped by the publisher. But luckily for us, it was picked up again and actually released in limited quantities, which will now cost you the price of a small gold bar. Control a leprechaun twin and throw cards at enemies quicker than you can say David Blaine. In this Contra-esque platform adventure, use your magic to demonstrate that the SNES really was one of the best consoles ever made. This is a true hidden classic. This game is not just king, it's queen, bishop, rook, knight, and pawn. Well, that was very dramatic and exciting. He has been defeated. I can tell this game is good because I've actually got past level 1. And that, in my mind, is a very, very good thing. In fact, it might actually be a massive thing. Yes, we'll go with massive, thank you. The sort of game that's nice to play on a Sunday afternoon or a Friday night, don't know why. Control a big-headed, smiling boy in this action platform adventure. The boy is you, and your name is Arthur. The peaceful village of Anarath, not Anarak, is being threatened by evil orb Gamut. Well, of course it is. Not that I pay much attention to story, I pay attention to fun. I really despise games where you just fall down dark and dingy secret areas. This music is dreadful, it's just a load of beeps. I mean, what's this water doing? Come on now, I've got to get up and rescue things. Feels like a silly kids version of Castlevania, but no whip. There's a ghostly lift there. Thought they were supposed to be the enemies of the ghostly manor. I guess not. Oh, come on. I'm just swimming in this game. If I wanted swimming, I'd play a sports game.
I hope you enjoyed that.